In the summer of 2019, my family and I traveled to California. Although it was an amazing experience full of good memories, driving along the hilly streets of San Francisco, there were feelings of sadness that washed over me. Like a typical tourist, I came into the trip hyper-aware and ready to grasp every moment. What I wasn't prepared for in the beauty of California scenery was the overflowing of homelessness. It was everywhere. I couldn't look away. As I hopped off our tour bus, I saw a woman begging outside of a grocery store with her 2 young daughters. My mom, sister, and I went into the grocery store and bought essentials for them. At that moment, the lack of equity was staring straight at me. I'm sure most of the people in the chapel or listening on Teams have done this act of kindness before. For me, at that moment, I recognized how privileged I was to be traveling in San Francisco with the comforts of my home in Niagara. I questioned what I would see if I returned to my own community as a tourist. I began to see the needs of our community through this different lens, and I've claimed power for myself by viewing my own identities in a completely different way. I started to have a deeper understanding of Terror Dum Prosum. Good afternoon, students, faculty, my family, Mr. Kidd, and Miss Beth. Today, I will be sharing my biggest takeaway from my time at Ridley. I am so honored to be standing here in front of all of you to present my Prefect homily. It feels like yesterday I was sitting in my grade 3 classroom, young and eager. I have been at Ridley for a decade. That is 10 years I've had the opportunity to learn to be consumed in service and then put that learning into action. This year, I have really reflected on my years at the school, taking in everything the school has to offer, and I've realized how privileged I am to be here. By definition, a privilege is a special right, advantage, or immunity granted to only a particular group or person. Someone who is privileged has an advantage or opportunity that most people do not have. Each one of us here has been granted that advantage and the opportunity to share with others through service. We always end chapel with Ridley's motto, Terror Dum Prosum, meaning, may I be consumed in service. Have you ever taken the time to process and take in what this means? We go to school every day to get the best education, participate in clubs, sports, plays, and activities. But do we stop to understand what privilege means and the responsibility that we have that now we are here? Consuming yourself in our community is what we do on a regular day basis. It's in the Ridley DNA. But have you ever thought, how will I consume myself in a world that is outside of a Ridley bubble? A study has shown that those who have privilege or those with advantages are least likely and least willing to admit that they even have it. Once you start to recognize your privilege and take action, you will start to achieve what we call henesis. Although there is no direct translation in English, henesis describes the importance of oneness and unity. If we all work together in unity, we can conquer anything we put our minds to. Ridley provides us the opportunity to push for unity in so many different ways. By working together as a Ridley house, we learn and take action to contribute to society. G West, the family that I'm most proud to be a part of, I was overjoyed with our efforts to raise money for the CIBC Run for the Cure, where we made a difference. There are so many more examples. Every Ridley house gets involved. And also, Ridley organizes service trips to Guatemala to build schools and rebuild less fortunate communities. In upper school, Ridley provides us the opportunity to expand our global awareness with trips to China and Africa. We all work together at Ridley to play our part in our community, which I find very inspiring. Through Ridley, I am traveling the world and viewing everything with the tourist lens. I'm sure you all know what NYP Personal Project is. For those who don't, it is the project on anything you want to learn more about. I took this as an opportunity to learn about how to run a successful fundraiser. I thought doing the project and writing the book wasn't enough, and I needed to experience giving back. Learning who are the underprivileged in our community, why they are at disadvantage, and then paying forward from the advantages given to me. Therefore, lens, I learned to understand the importance of equity and fairness. It enabled me to firsthand see how fortunate I am to have a community that supports women in need. Okay, imagine this. I give you all a scrap piece of paper and ask you all to crumble it up. Then I place a bin at the front of the chapel. You all represent the country's population, and everyone has the chance to have the most wealth, good health, and happiness. A chance to never worry about poverty or hunger. The object of the game is to get your scrap piece of paper into the bin from where you're sitting. The students at the back of the chapel are immediately going to say that this is unfair. They can see the students in the rows in front of them who have a much better chance. There is an obvious disadvantage. As everyone takes their shot, those who are at the front have the best chance, but as you sit further to the back, those students are less likely to sink the paper into the bin. Clearly, the closer you are to the bin, the better your odds are. This is what privilege looks like. If you are in the back of the room, I know for a fact that you would all complain that this is an unfair game. And in turn, the students in the front are less likely to be aware of the privilege that they were given. All they saw was how close they were to their goal. Your job as students who are receiving worthy education is to be aware of the privilege and to use it wisely. Advocate for those in the rows behind you. As we look forward into our future, it is so important that those who are granted the position of privilege to 1, be ready to recognize that you're in the position of privilege, and 2, use that advantage for the greater good. We know at Ridley, advantages do not come easy. We work hard, we earn our way. Take a moment to examine where you stand today and how you can use it to make a difference. After being a tourist in San Francisco, traveling and being hyper-aware of everything, I now view everything with a tourist lens. I see the responsibility that I have been given with the power of privilege that will help play my part in creating a more equitable society. It is our time to recognize the power that we have been given to uplift those around us right here where we stand and around the world. Thank you.